All right, it's a special day today in New York as the Argentine delegation led by Economy Minister Axel Kicillof is scheduled to meet sometime today, we don't know what time, with the special master or negotiator appointed by Judge Thomas Grisey, Dan Pollock, to see if there's anything we can do, if we can find any way out of this mess that we're into with the bondholders. And today we're here with Haley Cohen. She's the Argentina correspondent for The Economist. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Haley, what do you think is going to happen today? Are we going to see any results or not?
To be honest, even if something is to come out of the meeting, I don't think that the results will be made public. So I wouldn't hold your breath until tomorrow.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of secrecy when it comes to what they're going to be talking about or not. We don't really know.
Or even who's going.
Or even who's going. Like we know a couple of names that are going to be joining Kicillof. We know that there's no one from the bondholders, from the holdout bondholders, is going to be present. This is just going to be a meeting between the Argentine delegation and the special master. But I'm not sure if this is going to get any results before the time we need. Do you think we're gonna find a way to negotiate our way out of this?
You know, it's hard for me to speculate. I know what the market is showing, and the market is still demonstrating a level of optimism that would suggest they're expecting salida negociada, a negotiated end to this whole debacle. I think most people that I've spoken with, economists and legal experts, expect the same thing, but that doesn't mean that negotiations can't be stymied,
right.
And there couldn't be surprises.
Well, we've heard from sources at the Economy Ministry here in Argentina that they're looking for a way to have Judge Grisey extend the stay or issue another stay so that Argentina can pay the bondholders first, the one who joined the 2005 and 2010 bond restructuring, and then pay these so-called vulture funds. Now, do you think this is feasible? Do you think this is going to happen? Do you think that the judge is going to agree to such a request?
You know, I think if that's really what Argentina wants, then they need to change their strategy a little bit in terms of, it seems like their strategy up until now has been trash the vulture funds and Judge Grisey and the U.S. legal system at home, and then say that they want a negotiation when they're abroad and kind of put on a good face. And I don't think that that's going to curry any favor with Judge Grisey or the holdouts. And up until now, I mean, I think it's a positive sign that finally Axel Kicillof, or at the end, Axel Kicillof is going to be heading up the delegation during today's negotiations. But I think besides that, Argentina needs to show some better faith before the judge is going to be so moved to grant a stay. And I think that they're also going to have to convince the bondholders themselves, right, the holdouts, the vultures, that they're really trying to negotiate and negotiating in good faith.
Now, it's interesting that you bring this up, because we have seen this thing that you were just mentioning, which is saying one thing here and then saying another, very different thing abroad. And I want to know exactly how this affects Argentina's case. We saw an op-ed that was published on your magazine last week that compared Argentina's behavior to Luis Suarez and his decision to bite an opponent during a match in the World Cup. So, and the article talks, you didn't write it, but the article talks about some kind of like teenage rebellion and Argentina's behavior being compared to that. So I want to know, how exactly does this affect our case before Judge Grisey? We have a Kirchner lawmaker here, Carlos Kunkel, who even dared saying that Judge Grisey is actually getting a cut out of all this, meaning that the judge is getting money from the vulture funds if the rulings are always in their favor. And this is a very outlandish thing to say. So how does this affect us?
Yeah, well, I can't imagine it really plays over all that well with Grisey. It strikes me as pretty fascinating that the way that Argentina is going about this is to, it seems at least, to do their best to denigrate and belittle the only figure that actually matters in deciding the outcome of this case. I mean, the only person that they really need on their side is Judge Grisey, and yet they're going to the Washington Post and the New York Times and taking out full-page, capitalized ads, calling into question, his ruling and also his integrity. And I don't really see the upside to that at all.
But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people who don't really understand this very much, they say, this is simple. If you borrow money, then you just have to pay. But it's not really that simple, is it?
No, it's certainly not that simple.
I mean, it has huge repercussions if this keeps happening.
And I think the buzzwords that have kind of been thrown out, the main one being the Roof Oh Klaus.
Right.
And Argentina has to be very careful with the Roof Oh Klaus. Most people, most legal experts suggest that it actually, there's more margin that's built into the Roof Oh Clause than Argentina would like to admit, and that it allows for settlements. And as long as Argentina can secure a ruling saying that any settlement that they do is involuntary, it in fact won't be triggered. Basically what the Roof Oh Clause says, I'm sure that this is repetition for you and a lot of people, but that Argentina cannot make an offer to any holdout bondholders that is better than the exchange bondholders. Right. Any voluntary offer, excuse me, that's the key word, voluntary offer, without also extending that offer back to the exchange bondholders.
Right, this would have huge repercussions, and it would set a dangerous precedent if any other country needs to restructure its sovereign debt. I mean, that's why this is such an important case on a global scale.
Definitely.
And what we were talking about before, I mean, I want your opinion now on this, and I know that you're not an expert in international law. I'm not an expert, so this is something that I just wanted to know if you heard something. But basically, last week, the government said that they were ready to take this case all the way up to the International Court of Justice in The Hague. Is this something that can be done? I mean, the Argentine government says that now they're going to consider this in Argentina versus the U.S. case because they consider the judiciary to be part of the U.S. government. However, the U.S. government, the Obama administration, issued an amicus brief, which means that at least the Obama administration sided with Argentina on this one. Is this something that can have any positive results? Are they just stalling? What is this?
As you said, I'm not an international legal expert, but it doesn't seem likely to me that The Hague would be all that sympathetic to a case that has made it all the way up to the Supreme Court without a variation in opinion. I mean, the rulings have been very clear, and the support for Grisey's order has been very clear. So I don't really see where The Hague's incentive for taking up such a case would be.
Right. All right, Haley, thank you very much for joining us today. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I'm not sure. None of us know if there's going to be any official announcement today. Probably you're going to have to just keep checking our website for additional information and updates about this case. It's very important, so please remember to check back with us. Thank you for joining us today.